Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 was my childhood. I could not put down that game as a kid, and it's the only Tony Hawk game I've played, other than Ride, but I don't count that one. I had family and friends that skateboarded, so I was always around it and liked to skate, but I also liked video games. So for a combo of these two things just made for an obsession with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. It was recently announced that Pro Skater 3 and 4 were getting remastered. Honestly, I think it kind of looks like shit. The Pro Skater 3 I remembered playing had this early 2000s skater aesthetic and the crude countercultured style humor. The remaster from the trailers looks like they changed a lot of that, which is understandable. They want to upgrade it and try to entice modern audiences, as well as get back those original fans, but it didn't work on me. I thought it looked like it lost all its style and they removed a whole bunch of features too. I won't know until it comes out and play it if it's good or not, but I can go back and play the original and see if it was good or not. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 was developed by Neversoft, Shabba Games, Vicarious Visions, and HotGen, and was released in 2001 for the PS1, PS2, Game Boy Color, and GameCube. I didn't play any of these versions as a kid. I had the version on the original Xbox, which came out in 2002, alongside versions for the Game Boy Advance, Windows, Mac, and Nintendo 64. I'm sure you can assume that the Game Boy versions are completely different in gameplay, but they loosely follow the levels of the console games. And the previous generation releases for the PS1 and N64 have technical limitations which led those versions being a lot different too. But the PS2, GameCube, Xbox, and PC/Mac versions are all the same while only having minor differences, like an exclusive level for the Xbox version. For this video I went back and played the PS2 version, which I'll hop into right now. The game loads up and we got the publisher Activision's opening animation come up, but the one that's burned into my head is the Neversoft one that comes up next. It has the Neversoft logo's eye come out of the title and take over the stitched together body who just starts ripping freestyle tricks. And that scene has lived rent free in my head for like 20 years now. This is followed by a cool skate video to Ace of Spades by Motorhead that shows our playable characters for the game, before dropping us into the main menu. It is a skate shop that plays some dope ass music. I hop straight into the career mode and just relearn the controls over time, but there is an in-depth tutorial fully narrated by Tony Hawk. I ended up picking Bam Margera for my playthrough since I was obsessed with him as a kid, and despite a lot of shit going on in his life, he's making a pretty good comeback and has been doing some pretty good skating recently. But there's so many characters to pick from, including a bunch of secret ones to unlock, as well as exclusive Japanese skaters in the Japanese version of the game. Or you can just create your own custom skater. You can change the outfit, skateboard, and tricks of your skater before hopping in the levels. The first being Foundry. When the level loads up, it shows you the goals of the level that include getting 3 high scores, collecting the letters to skate, getting the secret tape, 50/50 TC's rail, soak the foreman, grind the molten bucket, and unjam 5 valves. All the levels in career mode have variations of these goals that change up level to level that interact with the environment. The Foundry gave me 2 minutes to complete these goals, and I spent those 2 minutes eating shit and trying to remember how to play the game, but also jamming out to the pretty awesome soundtrack of this game. After restarting the level a lot and looking at the trick menu, I was starting to pick it up a little bit and starting to complete some of the goals. This is an arcade style game, and jumps more into the fun and outlandish compared to being a realistic skate simulator like Session. But all the controls are fun and feel quite smooth. The only downside being that you can't get off your board, which can lead to some janky moments trying to maneuver around the map. Pulling off the combos can be hard at first, but are achievable and rewarding once done. And with completing these goals that open up more parts of the map, it makes it a lot of fun. There are also collectibles around the map that are used to upgrade skill points to increase the stats of skaters. After completing a certain amount of goals, you can move on to the next level, which is Canada. I'm glad to get some Canadian representation in video games, even if it is just Canadian stereotypes. This level has you skate around an old mine and even has a dude pissing off the side of it. Reminds me of home. The third level takes place in Rio, Brazil, and it's a competition. You get 3 runs to score the highest and be in the top 3 to progress. This is where I realized that I really sucked at this game. Even as a kid, I never figured out how to chain the combos with manuals and reverts. This part took me a while, but I eventually started getting better at the combos and got the bronze so I could move on to Suburbia. This is one of the levels I remember the most as a kid, mainly because there's an Addams Family-like house you can unlock to skate around in, and I thought that was so cool as a kid. Unlocking secrets like this in each level is still as exciting playing this as an adult. The next level takes place in an airport, which actually had to be changed a little bit. There's a bunch of pickpockets that must be dealt with, but originally were supposed to be terrorists. But it's it's pretty obvious to see why a game coming out in 2001 with terrorists in an airport would have to be changed. The next level, Skate Island, is another competition that took me a while, since I was still practicing my combos. One thing I didn't know about this map was that there's a secret that takes you to an actual skate island where you can skate a pirate ship. If I knew about this as a kid, I'd be shitting myself. LA is the next level, being one where you can trigger an earthquake and stop a police chase. And then the last competition level that takes place in Tokyo, which I struggled with so hard. I tried to complete this level for over 30 minutes before giving up and just unlocking the last level with cheats, which takes place on a yacht with a bunch of girls in bikinis. One thing I didn't know either is that completing the career mode on 9 skaters opens up another level, being Roswell, which I still have yet to play. I want to try and unlock it by actually playing the game, I just didn't have time for this video. Before I stopped playing, I checked out the custom level editor that I remember playing for hours, filling up my Xbox hard drive with so many custom levels. Even after somewhat completing a skater's career mode, there's still so much more to do in this game. What do I think now after playing this game, after not playing it for all these years? Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 was met with great praise from fans and critics, selling millions of copies. I think that the praise is well deserved. I sucked at this game as a kid and can barely chain combos, but I still loved it so much. Going back and playing it now and actually learning the controls a little bit more was such a fun time, even though I still kinda suck. The controls still hold up with pretty smooth and satisfying tricks with minimal amount of jankiness. All the levels have such unique features that keep each one feeling fresh, and with so many characters with their unique special tricks, would keep those levels even fresher. Even if you get bored with the levels, you can go off and create your own. I feel like a lot of love went into this Tony Hawk game. The level of detail in the gameplay really shows that. I've never played any other Tony Hawk game, and I've heard that the quality really drops in some of the later ones. I can't help but feel that the 3 and 4 remaster won't live up to the same hype that this first one did. This game will forever be a part of my childhood, and also part of my adult life too, because I gotta get back to playing it right now.